This week on Chuckload of Comics, we're finally doing our review of Bohemian Rhapsody. We saw the movie and we're going to get into it. We're also giving our thoughts on the new Halloween movie, plus a review of one of our favorite comic books, Squarriors. We have got a lot to unpack today, guys, so let's get right into it. This is Chuckload of Comics. Hey guys, welcome to Chuckload of Comics. Huge week. We're going to get into so much stuff this week. We're going to break down the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. We've seen it. Take a look at all the cool stuff on that sidebar. We are going to unpack a ton of stuff for you guys this week. Before we get into any of that, this is our first week back from Ace Comic-Con. We're back in the Chuckload of Comics studio for the first time in a couple of weeks. Ace Comic-Con, guys, huge thanks to everybody that helped us out. Everybody that came and helped us out with our booth. We had such a good time at Ace. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, Code of Conduct Custom Tattoos, Home Run Inn Pizzeria, ABC Imaging, and of course our favorite comic shop, Chicago Comics.
Woo!
Kyra,
yes,
this was your first time with Chuckload of Comics at Ace Comic-Con. How was your Ace Comic-Con experience?
It was overwhelming to say the least, but like in the best way. Like, there's just so much going on at these cons, and like I said, you guys gave me like a little preview. I've heard like the most amazing stories from so many people about them, but like to actually be there, and when you first walk in, you're just like, you see all these Lokis, you see these Captain Americas, you see Bucky,
you just so
many Lokis. I wasn't mad.
It was kind of
that was the female Lokis killed it. I think they did better.
They did. Did you have one favorite part of Ace Comic-Con? Stood out.
I really, God. That's tough.
You probably enjoyed the 501st.
You had a blast over at 501st.
I'm over. Yes, no, it was definitely really cool to just see like a realistic, like physical, like R2D2, two R2D2s. Like, geez, one was be enough, but two was like, okay. And then BB-8, my son, like, oh my God, I was finally reunited. Well, reunited was the first time, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
Reunited.
That was so cool. And then holding the lightsaber, like they were so like realistic, and they were just like the nicest people, and they didn't care that I was nerding out, or basically, you know, I was crying pretty much.
Big props to the 501st. Big props to Ace Comic-Con, guys. We shot a lot of great interviews.
Yeah.
One of the favorite interviews that we shot was when we sat down with Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos. This leads me into a segment of Chuckload of Comics we haven't done in a while. One of our favorite segments here on the show, hateful comments from viewers.
From you guys.
You guys. Man, I love this segment, but we don't get nearly enough hate mail, so we're going to take advantage of this one. We got a bit of a hateful comment on our Jim Starlin video from a gentleman by the name of Will Mack. Will Mack wrote, Saldana's Gamora was nothing like the comics. It wasn't amazing at all. Stop trying to put words in Starlin's mouth and interrupting him.
Oh, Chuck.
I'm sorry, Will Mack. But in all honesty, we had a wonderful conversation with Jim Starlin. We did sit down with him before the show. We talked about how much he enjoyed Zoe Saldana's take on Gamora.
Yeah,
so,
not all gems are actually caught on camera. People just remember that.
Yeah, and it's tough when you sit down and do an interview on the fly like that. Because that was really an on the fly interview. But congratulations, Will Mack! You win the Chuckload of Comics Hateful Comment Trophy. Send us your address. We're gonna ship you this trophy. You win, my man.
You win.
Congratulations.
Thanks for playing.
So yeah, thanks a lot, Ace Comic-Con, for inviting us to the show. Yes. Now's the time. We've been waiting to talk about this movie for a long time. We were invited to a pre-screening of the upcoming movie Bohemian Rhapsody. Everybody has been excited about this film for a long time. The movie is directed by Bryan Singer, stars Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury. Just go ahead and give him the Oscar nomination right now. I mean, guaranteed Oscar nomination for Rami. What are my thoughts on Bohemian Rhapsody? This is going to be kind of a non-spoiler review, so don't freak out, people. I really liked this movie. I thought it was nothing short of spectacular. The performances by Rami Malek and really the entire cast of the band. I mean, the entire cast. I'm going to try to rifle off these names. Gwilym Lee played Brian May. Amazing. Spot on performance of Brian May. Joseph Mazzello as John Deacon and Ben Hardy as Roger Taylor. fantastic acting all across the board. Kyra, we're going to break down. We're going to do a little bit of a roundtable discussion of what everybody kind of thought of the movie. I'm going to start with you, Kyra.
Okay.
Overall thoughts of Bohemian Rhapsody.
It was way more than I expected. Like, going in it, of course, you have high expectations. It's a Freddie Mercury, Queen, just extravaganza. But, like, wow, just... They really exceeded any expectation I had, and it was incredible to just like see. They really did a good job, I think, of putting the audience in the perspective of Queen, not just Freddie Mercury, but each, like, I feel like individual member of Queen. They kind of gave you like a tale. Let me just relax. I'm gonna like do spoilers if I keep talking. But no, it was like just. Gosh, I don't even really have words. It was just amazing.
What I liked about it, I mean, the movie tells the story of the early years of Queen, leading up to the original band, leading up to the big Live Aid concert in 1985. That's kind of what it is. It's leading up to the big finale, which is Live Aid, which you saw in the trailers. Shauna, overall opinion of the film?
Absolutely loved it. I thought it was amazing, and it was just so cool to be able to have the opportunity to see it in advance like that. It was so awesome.
It was amazing.
I have no complaints, really. I mean, the only thing, if I had to complain about one thing, and it's not really a complaint, but I would have loved to have seen more of pre-Queen Freddie Mercury, because the movie kind of starts with him getting the job. And that's fantastic. I love that. I want to hear every part of that story, but it would have been nice to see some pre-Queen stuff.
I want to talk a little bit about the way the movie opened. I thought it was an absolutely genius way, a genius bit of editing, the way the movie started. This is tiny spoileries, but it's not really a spoiler type of movie.
So good.
The way the movie starts out with the opening credits is Freddie coming. He's in his dressing room. Yeah. It's him getting ready to go on stage at Live Aid. You don't see his face in the sequence. It's just like blurred shots in the mirror, him putting on his armband, him just preparing himself to go out on the stage at Live Aid. You know this is going to be a massive historical concert, and then it cuts back to him as a young person.
Yep.
What a great way to open the film.
Yeah,
I love the way they edited that. A couple of my big thoughts, things that I really, really did like about it, because I do have some cons that we'll get into in a minute. The bond between the bandmates.
Yeah, no kidding.
It really, the movie didn't just focus on Freddie Mercury.
Right.
It focused on the band. And
this is probably the only band in history that I've ever seen that didn't have any turmoil or like didn't hate each other.
Overall, they cared about each other like genuinely, and you like saw that in the movie. Like they really knew each other, and even with all the fame and the success, like they tried as best as they could to keep it like the core of what they wanted Queen to be, which I thought was, you don't really like know a lot of those details listening to Queen. Growing up, everybody was listening to Queen. It's like, you know, bits and pieces, but you don't really know like what was going on. Yeah, and I think the movie showed so much that you just wanted, you never really realized you wanted to know all these things. You're like, oh my gosh, it just makes Queen so much better, like so much larger than life. You're like, how could they even get better to begin with? And now it's just like, wow.
Exactly.
I mean, it was great to see young Freddie. I forget the name of the actress who plays Freddie's girlfriend when they're young, but she absolutely crushed it.
Oh, she's so good.
The music was so great. Like all kind of rock and roll biopics, they show you how the songs come to be, and the movie's called Bohemian Rhapsody. So there's a big play in the second act about that particular song, which I thought was great. And they start touching on that song in the beginning, a little bit of foreshadowing at the beginning of the movie when Freddie's sitting there with his girlfriend and he's just kind of plucking something out on the piano, and it's that doom, 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 doom. And she's like, oh, that's beautiful. And he's like, oh, it's just something I'm playing with. And as the movie progresses, the song grows, the song gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and like you saw in the trailer, they talk about getting more experimental. And then Freddie just goes balls deep into the song, and just
so cool to
all
see
the Galileos and the big operatic sequences and stuff. The whole, like, a big part of the second act of the film is just that particular song, but they don't just focus on that song. They hit on all of the major Queen hits. The actor that played Brian May, again, I want to go back to him. He absolutely crushed it. Not only did he look exactly like Brian May,
crazy how much they look like everybody in Queen. It's
Willem Lee is a fantastic actor. I don't know him in too many other things, but he absolutely crushed it. He sort of stole the show. And again, that's something I want to get you guys' take on it. It wasn't. They gave a lot of respect to Freddie Mercury. It was a very respectful film. Definitely. Some people might complain that they didn't put a ton of emphasis on his personal life, homosexuality, the AIDS thing. It was really more about the band.
Right.
And just kind of the friendship, the camaraderie between all of the characters.
Yeah.
Kyra, do you think, should they focus maybe a little bit more on the personal side of things as opposed to the band in general? I mean, did you think that was actually a good route to take?
I think that, like again, how you said the respect of Freddie Mercury, this larger-than-life character that everybody always had these just judgments about and everything he was doing in his personal life. I think they did a really good job at just showing you a little bit of it and enough for you to like paint this picture and put like all the pieces together of what happened to Queen.
Yeah.
You know, when he was doing his solo career and stuff, like a lot of those details, those minor details, I didn't really know were happening. And seeing this movie kind of like educated me a lot on his personal life, like kind of just gave me some truth to like rumors and stuff I just assumed were true about him. Not that I really care about his personal life. I really just cared about his music, which I think is the most important part. So I think they, as a whole, I mean, they probably could have dove deeper. I think any movie can really just go there if they really want to. But I think they did a good job at respecting the boundaries of his personal life, but showing a good amount just to keep you like in the know of what's going on and how it's affecting all the members, you know?
Well, the movie actually was initially cast as Sacha Baron Cohen was originally cast in the role of Freddie Mercury.
I can see
was,
it.
No, he was signed on in
see it.
pre-production, like all the way before the camera started rolling. Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat, as you all know, he
Yes.
was going to play Freddie Mercury. The reason he dropped out of the role is because he didn't like the fact that the script didn't dive into the personal,
Interesting.
into
I
the
didn't know
AIDS
that.
stuff, into
Okay.
the homosexual counterculture of Britain at the time.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And so he didn't think that they were making too big of a sort of a fluff movie,
Okay.
and so he dropped out. And then God,
That's
Rami
interesting.
Malek fell out of the sky,
Right?
who
Thank
absolutely
Yeah.
crushed it. I mean, guys, Rami Malek's performance as Freddie Mercury was
Amazing.
nothing
Phenomenal.
short of incredible.
Yeah.
You've seen it in the trailer.
Oh.
He looks like him,
Sounds like
Dead
a
ringer.
sounds like him. There's a few parts. Most of the songs in the movie are
dubbed.
taken from live
Right.
performances from the actual band, but there's a couple parts when he actually does sing.
Yeah.
His mannerisms.
And it sounds
like
good, yeah.
Oh, it's
everything.
spot on.
So to what you guys are saying
Yeah.
and to talking about diving deeper into the personal life,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the fact that they didn't do that is more of how Brian May like respected Freddie, because I think Brian May produced
He
this
was
film, right?
one of the producers of
Yeah,
the film.
he was
and
always
that
there.
right there alone to me shows that how much they cared about each other. He didn't want to put his dirty laundry out there for everybody to see.
Right.
He wanted to tell the story and let people just connect the dots. And I think,
It's
to me, I think it's very respectful.
It's
of it.
very respectful.
It speaks
film.
volumes
Yeah.
for how they
That
are.
leads to one of my slight cons. If I really,
Yeah.
and this is just me talking, if I had to pick one thing that I think critics, when the movie comes out, the critics might kind of poo-poo about the film is that it watches like the Wikipedia page for Queen.
Right.
Okay.
It really just hits all the beats of the history of Queen. It's like watching a Wikipedia thing where you see movies like Ray and these biopics like Walk the Line that dive really deep into the struggles of the artist.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, I had no idea that. I mean, all the stuff that went down with Johnny
Johnny
Cash
Cash,
and Walk
yeah,
the Line,
that's true.
and Ray Charles being a heroin addict.
Yeah.
You get a lot as a viewer
Right.
out of seeing them dive into that stuff, but
Right.
you kind of changes your opinion on the artist. They don't really do
Right.
that in this movie. And I think that's
Sure.
when the movie comes out. I think critics are going to say they took the safe route.
Yeah, I understand that,
yeah.
but at the same time, like, nobody was around to defend Freddie. I mean, in this aspect, like Ray Charles was still alive for
Right.
that. He was okay with letting all his dirty laundry out, and same
Right.
kind of with Johnny Cash. I mean,
He passed
his
away
wife
just before
was,
the movie came
yeah,
out.
and his wife
June Carter was there.
June Carter was there to say, you know what, this is true. Let's do it. I don't think Freddie had that
Yeah,
in his background.
it does, but it does add that certain level of drama
Sure.
to the story.
Sure.
when
Definitely.
you dive into just. You dust off.
Yeah.
It's not all polished and beautiful. They do
Right.
a little bit of it. I don't
Yeah.
want to say that it's
Yeah.
all just one big
Happy.
rah. Freddie was the greatest
Right.
ever.
No,
do
they
dive
definitely
into
get
it
a
a little
little
bit, but again, I mean, the movie's just really leading up to this Live Aid concert,
Yep.
and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
It's fun to see them playing small clubs.
It's fun to see
And-
how the songs were created
Boring,
and how they came
yeah.
up
That's
with all the
fantastic.
different.
So
it was
cool.
It was a really great movie.
Now, do you guys think, so obviously just you mentioning Walk the Line, I remember in that movie, like they did show a lot not a lot, but like enough of Johnny Cash's childhood to where you saw
Same way
how
with
that
Ray.
affected him, you know?
You
So
know,
like
Ray with his dead brother and
Right.
when drowning and all that stuff.
yeah, and you know Johnny Cash's brother died
Right.
so tragically, and
Yeah.
it's just
Like
yeah.
Shauna said earlier, you know, to Shauna's point, they didn't do a lot of young
Right.
Freddie.
Which
Freddie's
would've been
family, his
great,
parents
yeah.
do play a fairly
Right, they're
big
there.
role in the film, and there wasn't a lot of young Freddie Mercury. You know,
Right.
How, like what? How did he find this love of singing? They
Yeah.
didn't really give you any of
Right,
that stuff.
yeah.
They didn't talk about a young guy. It kind of just starts off with him
Yeah.
going to a show,
Right.
meeting these guys whose singer just quit the band,
Yeah.
and then bam, he's instantly in Queen.
Yep.
And it does.
a little
But I think
choppy.
that's what this
A little
movie
bit
is
of a
about.
negative thing.
It's just about that, which is, I mean, could we have seen more of young Freddie?
Right.
Yes, but maybe that's another movie.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking though. Now that I'm like thinking about it, and we're diving into it. Like maybe they just wanted this to be a Queen focused movie, and
Yeah.
maybe they left certain things out because they're gonna, you know, just see how this movie people respond to this movie, and obviously people would love to see, you know, Freddie's life, and maybe. Maybe who knows? Like I feel like it just leaves like doors opens almost for like a prequel or like a
Sure.
sequel, just more so of diving into his personal life because you know he did have his solo career. Like if they
That
wanted
was
to,
another really cool part
Yeah,
of the
Right.
film when they
Which
talk
a lot
about
of people don't-
not that I don't mean to interrupt you.
no,
but
that's fine.
it's
You're
just
right.
you're making me think of these cool parts
Right.
of the film. Like
Yeah,
when he
it's
goes
so
off and does
good.
his solo career
I know.
just to see, you know, if it'll work, and it kind of crashes and burns.
Totally. Yeah.
And that was a really interesting part. That had a little bit of drama because that's when he
Right.
starts running with a darker
bad
crowd,
crowd,
and he starts really running around with you know
Yeah.
the counterculture
The
at
sketchy
the time of
people.
London
Yeah.
and getting into drugs and stuff like that. But it was just kind of a small
Yeah.
segment. But it made it that much better when the band gets back together
Right.
to do the Live Aid
Right.
concert. It just added to that. They're breaking up, but they're always getting back together. They're
I
always
love that.
friends. It's not like they hated each other. They
Yeah.
just went
They
their
did
separate
such
ways
a
and then
good
came
job
back
at that.
together. There was no. It didn't seem like there was a lot of bad blood between
Nope.
the band.
Never. And I think they really like showed Freddie as a human and just how he just really, really loved music and he loved the people in the band. I'm gonna start crying
Yeah.
a little bit. So
Don't
Aw,
cry,
don't cry,
Kyra. grab
like,
BB-8. BB-8
you
will
see
get
that.
through
You
this.
see that. It's such a spoiler, but like you see, you know, when his solo career just crashes, and you see like how he just kind of steps out of body and sees everything going around him and these people in his life who are negatively having an impact on him, and he kind of just checks him. I'm gonna spoil it. I need to stop. But you
Spoiled so much of it at this point.
it shows that, you know, at like the core of his being, he just loved music. That's what he
Yeah.
loved, and he loved being with that group of people. He
Yeah.
loved being with Queen, and like to me that's enough for me to see how they put that together. Like it was
Yeah.
just it's
Wow.
awesome.
Well, guys, go out and see it. It comes out November
It's gonna be
2nd.
so good.
I think you're really going to enjoy it. And if
Yes.
you don't, leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Moving on to our second movie review of the day. We recently saw the new Halloween movie. Kyra, you have not seen Halloween
No,
yet.
I haven't, and I need to go.
You
see
were
it as
working
soon as
last night when
possible.
we went and saw it.
I know,
Sorry.
when am I not working?
The movie's currently sitting at an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
I think
Right.
that's a perfect spot for it.
Okay.
I agree.
It's not quite a 90.
Yep.
A lot of you people are going to hate what we have to say about this movie. Again, non-spoiler, but it's getting like people are really loving this movie.
Right.
There were more people in the theater to see Halloween than there was for Venom.
Yeah.
And-
Oh,
which was like the
wow.
big October blockbuster.
Right.
But our theater was packed, and everybody's saying how they're trying to go see Halloween, but it's sold out. It's sold out. It's sold out.
Yeah.
It's getting a lot of amazing buzz.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I liked it. I did really enjoy it. It was a wonderful throwback to those kind of 70s slasher films.
Yes.
But was it the greatest movie I've seen of the year? No, it wasn't. Like, this is my own personal opinion.
And I agree with you. Like, did it live up to the hype of what everybody is saying? Me personally, I don't think so. Like,
don't
it
think
was the hype around it was, oh my gosh, this is great. We're
back,
just
yeah.
getting this new horror movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is back, and I was expecting this golden like masterpiece, and I didn't get that.
But-
But it was
Right.
fun.
So the movie, if you don't know, I mean, the movie is basically Halloween 2. They threw out all the other Halloween movies that
Retconned
happened
it.
after number one.
Yeah.
They retconned the whole thing, and
Yep.
this is just the sequel to the original
The first.
Halloween, and it was cool. Now, the
It takes
death,
place 40 years later.
40 years later,
Yeah.
you see Michael Myers in the hospital. I would have liked to have seen a lot more of that. I would have liked to have seen a lot
Yeah.
more of him in the mental institution. These two people
Yeah.
come to interview him. What an awesome kind of premise. These
Yeah.
people coming to interview the guy. and that's like the first 30 seconds of the movie, and they never really touch on it again. And I'm not just poo-pooing on the film because it was really, really good. It was a wonderful throwback to those kind of 70s slasher films.
Yep.
And the fact that it was made on a $10 million budget
What?
$10 million, yeah.
$10 million?
Yeah.
What they did on $10 million, it made $8 million on Thursday,
Yeah,
just on the
right.
pre-screenings. It's on par. It's tracking to beat Venom, which was the '1 October release of all time. It's not going to reach its level, the movie It, Stephen King's
Definitely
It,
not,
of
no.
the highest rated R-rated horror film of all time, which was at like 112 million opening weekend. It's not going to hit that, but it might beat Venom. So it's doing spectacular.
Yeah.
It's making all the money,
All the monies.
which is great. I mean, good for you, good for horror, good for
Yeah.
Blumhouse. It's a Jason
Yeah.
Blum
Hell
movie.
Yep.
What they did with $10 million is definitely
I
spectacular.
know, that's
Because
true.
I
I
mean,
couldn't
2 of
agree
that
more
probably
with
went to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
You know,
Probably more than
As
that.
it
Probably half of
rightfully should.
Yeah.
She carried those
she
movies.
was great, and the kill scenes. One of the thing I'm going to kind of poo-poo a little bit.
I want to hear about this.
The kills, I wanted a little bit more kill. I mean, honestly,
Okay.
the shower scene in Psycho was a scarier death scene than almost every single death scene in the Halloween movie.
I have to agree.
Really?
A lot of the kill scenes,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
I mean, to its credit, this is Michael Myers. He's just a roving shape that just kills people quickly. That's who the character is.
Right.
Right. It's no
But
BS.
so many of the kills, and the kills got better as the movie went on. So many of the kills were just walking by and just stab you
Stab,
and
you're
walk
dead.
away. One stab,
Really?
walk away, or just grab your
Yeah.
head, slam it against a wall, and just walk away.
Yeah.
And they're good, and it's shot beautifully, it's shot
Yeah.
perfectly, but I don't know, man. For my money, I want a couple extra,
Right.
couple extra
Extra
stabs.
Wow. So it wasn't like really like gory or
It
bloody?
really wasn't.
It
They
kinda
really
was,
shied
yeah.
away from a lot of the gore. There weren't a
Was
lot
it
of
jumpy or like sinister? You know, because like the
well, it was
original
overall
Halloween was just,
creepy,
like-
which was
Yeah.
nice. It did have
Okay.
that overall kind of creepy vibe.
right.
Yeah.
To hell with the girl who was sitting next to me with a cell phone.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
I was
come
sitting
on.
next to man, and I'm hearing a lot of people on Twitter and on Instagram
Yeah.
complaining about the exact same thing. The theaters are so packed, and all these young people are coming out to see the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh God.
Young people who just don't know how to act when they're outside of the house.
Right.
The girls next to me were just talking the whole time.
Oh, I would've
And I
been
kept shushing them, and they kept looking at me and giving me the stink eye. And then one of them pulled out their phone and started Instagramming in the middle of the film. I'm like,
Oh my God.
what are you doing? Sorry, guys, I'm going off on a little bit of a rant here.
No,
So that
but
might have to do with why
that
you
ruins
also
the
didn't
experience
like
a
it
little
as
bit.
much.
Yeah.
Might have ruined it. But is it good? Yes, it's very, very, very good, and it's spectacular for a $10 million budget.
Yes.
I need to
What
go see
they
it.
did, I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
In the trailers, it's all about
Always.
her kind of being in survivalist mode.
Like
She's been
stealth mode,
training
yeah.
for 40 years for the return of Michael
Jeez.
Myers. Her whole house
What a
is
life.
this crazy bunker,
No,
I
which
need
is
to go-
cool. It's
It
really,
is
really
cool.
cool, but I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more of that. Maybe a few more flashbacks to her,
yeah.
like right after the
Right.
Halloween. Like, when did she decide to start...
Like what made her?
Yeah, when did she kind of go off the deep end and decide to
Yeah.
start turning her house
They
into
didn't
a
do
survivalist
flashbacks?
bunker? They were very few
No.
Oh,
flashbacks,
what?
which I was kind of hoping we would get more.
They
I was
could
hoping
have
for a little bit
killed
more
it with
hospital,
that.
maybe a little bit more Jamie Lee Curtis flashbacks.
Yeah,
Like, how did
I
she get
agree.
to where she
Right
is?
to like show her like what.
Because honestly, who died in the first Halloween? 5 people?
That
Five
doesn't really matter.
babysitters by
Yeah.
today's
Funny, they
standards?
actually make a comment
They
to
do.
that early in the movie about how 5 people died from a guy and they caught the guy. Okay, well, big whoop.
But today's standards.
And then they
that's-
see him
that's
and they're
nothing.
like,
He's in prison. Oh, great.
But I think he at least doubles that body count in this movie.
Yeah.
But
Okay, well,
anyway, so
to
go see
10
it. Let us know
people.
what you guys think of Halloween. I'm sure you're going to tell us that it was great and we're all stupid.
Let's get more
Right.
hate comments.
We
wait,
need
she
more
has
hateful
kids,
comments.
right? She has kids
Yes,
now, right?
she has
Yep.
kids and grandkids
Yep.
Oh
who
wow.
all play a role in the film.
Okay.
So let us know what you guys think.
Wow.
Halloween, man. I might not see it again, but I did have a good time at the movies. I did enjoy it.
Same here.
Now, one thing that I really enjoyed this
What
week.
was that?
Let's talk comic books.
Comic books on
This-
a comic book show?
Yes.
No way.
This book right here, guys. The book's called Squarriors.
Squarriors.
What a spectacular book this is. We actually got to sit down with the writer of this book at Ace Comic Con, and I'm so glad we did. Ash, thanks for talking to us,
Yeah,
man. Thanks
thank
for sitting
you.
down with us. You told us all about this book, and I hadn't read it yet, but I had a chance to read this entire trade that you gave us, and oh my god, it's
Mind blown.
so spectacular. The book, basically, let me give you a little synopsis of the book. It centers around these survival tribes of animals living in a world that's just recently void of humans. Humans have been wiped off the face of the planet, and taking their place are all the woodland creatures.
Yep.
Humans get wiped out, and they don't tell you why, but for some reason the animals have become smart.
Yep.
They've become, self-aware. They
Independent,
talk.
yeah.
They
Yes.
make weapons. They separate into these little tribes of warring squirrels and foxes and rabbits, and
so
they're
cool.
all fighting against each other. It sounds adorable, right? Well, let me tell you, this is not
It is a
Adorable.
gory book.
cute book. This is a very bloody, gory, hardcore
Yes.
book. Now, I don't want to
In a good
let
way.
you. It's not a snuff film
No.
of a book. It's just, but it's very adult. It's very
Very
Game
much
of
so.
Thrones.
Yes.
with
Animals.
no
Game,
animals.
Game of Thrones with animals?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly. It's very
Okay.
much what it
I
feels
need to
like.
borrow
The art by Ashley Witter
Oh
is
my
every
goodness.
page is an oil painting. Every single panel is an absolute masterpiece.
Unbelievable.
Work of art. The art in here is
Wow.
spectacularly amazing,
And the writing as well. I mean,
and the
you
writing's
got
spectacular.
two Ashleys working on this book. How can you go wrong,
Ash
right?
and
Ash and
Ashley.
Ashley.
So they don't tell you in the first trade kind of what happens to the human race.
Right.
It just it does a lot of jump backs
It does
from the 80s
flashbacks.
to the 90s.
Okay.
The 80s being where you know something's about to go down. The military, there's
Right.
helicopters flying over, people are getting sick, kind of like Stephen King's The Stand.
Okay.
And you know they're about to get wiped out. But
Right.
then it'll jump into the 90s where
Where every
the
human,
woodland
all
creatures are living
humanity is
in the
wiped
ruins
out.
of
Yeah.
human Earth. Like they live in like a fallen over boxcar.
Yeah.
They have wars on the railroad tracks, but the railroad tracks are huge because they're talking about little squirrels and mice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I
And
didn't think of that.
it's just the different tribes.
so
I'm probably not
cool.
doing it justice, but man, you
It's
gotta
so
read it,
good.
guys.
You have
Check
to.
them out online if you can't pick up the trade. It's available on Diamond Comics.
Yeah,
you can
so
get
you
it
can
at
just-
your local comic
Yep.
book shop.
Just ask your local comic book shop to order it for you. The thing I'm looking forward to the most in this book is because they picked the world where humanity is dead. It starts in 1996, and they picked this year for a reason.
You think?
And I do. I'm like
Leading up to
wondering why. I
something.
can't wait to figure out why 1996. Like what happened. In
Well, it was
this
like
universe.
86 when the humans get wiped out.
No,
And it's
86 is when
96.
they flash back to the humans.
Well, that's true.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, between 86 and 96,
Yeah.
and that span, humans are gone. So I
Wow.
can't wait to see what happens with that
Yeah.
too. It's just so good.
So gorgeous to look at. It's so gorgeous to read. There's It took me like a whole week to get through this trade. Normally, I'll read through a trade in a day.
dense.
There's a ton of stuff in here. It's so dense.
Yeah.
There's so much just to dive into. All the characters are great. If you pick up the trade, let me give you a little recommendation. And Ash, to your credit, I love the fact that at the end of the book, there's this write-up about the whole
Bios.
world. There's bios of all the different
Yeah.
animals, just like on the back of a G.I. Joe doll.
Yeah.
So
Gives you the
cool.
whole bios. If you're reading the book, I would recommend reading that first.
Yeah.
Right.
Go to the back of the trade, read the bios
Okay.
first before you get into the book. Because I'm not poo-pooing the book because I adore this book. It's a little hard to understand which character is what.
Gotcha.
But
at
reading
first.
those
Sure.
bios
Yeah. Really
open the
helps.
whole
That's true.
floodgates up to me. So
Yeah.
if you're picking up the trade, I would recommend reading the bios in the back maybe before you get into the book. That's just my opinion.
And so this is spring. And so summer is coming out really soon,
Yes.
from what we understand. And then, of course, we're going to have fall and winter. So hopefully this series, we know it's at least going on for 3 more trades.
Every story arc's going to be a
Yeah.
different season, which is so
Wow.
cool. Very Game of
Yeah.
Thronesy.
Exactly.
Oh my
Very,
gosh.
because I'd like to see how these animals fare in the dead of winter.
Right.
Because it takes place in the Midwest, like right in this kind of
Yeah.
Chicagoland
Oh,
area,
God.
where the winters are very harsh, and they're very
Yeah.
worried about the winters. They're like, well, I don't think we're going to survive another winter.
Yeah.
Oh.
They talk about all this stuff.
It's just so
the
cool.
animals are adorable, but man, is it a bloody book.
Yes.
The battles in this book are just gory. Oh man,
Wow.
it's so fantastic.
It's
well worth
great.
your time. They also have a card game coming out. All of you
Yeah.
tabletop card game people, there's going to be a Squarriors card game.
It already is out.
This is actually, I think, the cover for the
Wow.
for the card
Card
game. It's not
game.
the actual cover for
Uh-huh.
the book. And if you look on the back, actually, this is the front.
Oh my
You
gosh.
see one of
Got
the,
some of the
you see one of the
cards.
cards.
Yeah.
For
Whoa.
King, who is one of the characters, and that's what the cards in the card game will look like.
Yeah, that's
So
a little
If you're
scary
into tabletop
looking.
gaming, guys, check out Squarriors. Check out our review, our interview that we did
Yeah,
with
with
Ash
Ash.
at truckloadofcomics.youtube.com. He
Yeah.
explains it way better than we do.
Of course.
But man, check out Squarriors.
So
It's
good.
so worth your time. It's
Yes.
so worth your money. I mean, every single page, the art's spectacular, the story's great, the world they've created
Amazing.
is incredible.
I
It's
know.
absolutely wonderful.
I can't wait for summer.
That's our show, guys. That's what we got. Kyra, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us
Oh
today.
my gosh, you guys don't have to thank me. I love being here. And also, I really want to check out this comic book now. I feel like
got to.
You should.
It's so good.
any comic book you guys say is just like, it's on my list.
Squarriors.
You know?
Yeah, I'm going to show you some of the pictures inside this book.
Yeah, I can't wait to look at it. Oh, I'm probably going to cry a little bit if I see like a dead rabbit or something. But
you might. Well, guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't checked out our Ace Comic-Con coverage, check it out on youtube.com/chuckloadofcomics. Click that subscribe button. Join the Chuckload of Comics family. And I don't know why I'm saving this for the very end. We just launched the Chuckload of Comics website. Yeah. Chuckloadofcomics.com. Go check it out for con coverage, all kinds of interesting stuff. Chuckloadofcomics.com, and of course youtube.com/chuckloadofcomics. Yeah. Every single Sunday, breaking down the nerdy news of the week. We'll see you here next time. Have a fantastic week, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.